Hello, it's Cem Tezcan. I'm recording this video to show you how the rain material works with Metahuman actors. So this is the sample Metahuman map or level design, which can be acquired from the marketplace. And so you can see that this is the main sample demo of the Metahuman. So I'm going to adjust the materials of this actor by using the content of my rain material pack. So for the starter, uh, I want to explain that there are two applications on the meshes of this rain material. The first one is the rain overlay material, which manipulates the original normal map of an existing material which needs adjustment. You need to edit the material first. And the other one is just the rain volume that you can move to your actor, and it overrides the roughness values of it to make it look like it's under rain. So let's start by making the volume system. So for the starter, you see that under the content uh, applied the I added the rain material pack to this project. So you see that there is a rain material folder here. So I'm double clicking it, and under the maps there are three levels. The two of them are the cafeteria level, and the other one is the sample level of this pack. So I'm double clicking it, and let's save this level. So you see that this is the main level that shows the application of the rain material. So you see that this one is the rain overlay material, which can be moved in real time to make it look like it's under rain. It just overrides any material. So this is the translucent material. This is out of our subject right now. So the third one is the overlay volume. You see that there is this cube, and the same cube with overlay material function is applied to its material. So this looks much more realistic than this one, but this one doesn't need any editing. So let's start by selecting the dynamic rain volume actor, which makes the area under rain with the particles and the material overriding with the decal system. So under that there are particles and 3-axis decal system which I created. So I am selecting 5 of them and pressing Ctrl and C. And next I will go back to the Metahuman level. So let's search for the level there. I think I saw the Metahuman sample, and I'm double clicking. No need to save anything since I didn't change anything on this level. So we are back with the Metahuman level. Under there, by selecting the root on the world outliner, I'm pressing Ctrl and V. And you see that my dynamic rain volume actor with the decal system is just pasted to the current level. So you can see that I can just move this over the actor, and the system will change the look of this actor as if it's under rain. So let's slow down my camera speed to show you a better look. And you see that this system just creates a flow on the vertical surfaces and the splashes on the horizontal surfaces. You can see that the shoulders having splashes, and here on the chest area just shows a flow with the current animation. So you can adjust them by also setting this, adjusting these instances. So this controls the x-axis projection, this is the y, and this is the z. You can change the tiling of them or the flow speed or any intensity of the effect. So for instance, I double click to the X instance. Let's open all of them. And then I can change the effect intensity as, for example, 0.1. So if I set it, all of them as 0.1, you can see that the intensity of this effect is increased, but it looks like there is a white liquid flows here and there. So the tiling I used here is 3. You can change it as you like. For example, if I set it to 1, there will be big flows and splashes here and there. And if I set it to 5 or any other number, higher number, so the splashes will be looking tiny. And you see that they are flow through here and there. And also, the changing the UV multiplier of this effect creates an slow down flow on the material, because once the tiling is increased, you also need to increase the general flow speed. For example, if I set it to 10, you will see that this flow will be much more faster. Let's switch back to 5. You don't need to change any flow speed on the z-axis since it's the splash. So I am just changing the flow speed back to 5 and tiling to 3 for all of the decal material system. So I can set the general flow speed as, let's say, 4 looks fine, I suppose. Yeah, it's looking better. So I'm changing the effect intensity as 0.05, and this looks better, splashes and flows on the face and other parts. So if I move this volume away, you see that we have the dry material back. And if I move it to over the actor, you will see that the splashes and flows will apply it over the geometry. So this is the one application of this material. So let's hide the decal projection system. So we have just the particles and the actor. So let's use the secondary approach, which is the material overlay function. So the second approach on creating a water flow on an existing material is the overlay function. So this approach is not like the previous decal version because it needs a parameter editing. So you need to find the exact parameter, exact material that you need to modify. For example, let's make the face material overlaid by the rain material function. So first of all, we need to find the exact material that used on the face. So you see that Metahuman actors are actually blueprints. So we need to edit them to find the material that which is used on the face. So I'm selecting this blueprint and clicking edit blueprint and open blueprint editor. So we are not editing anything on the event graph. I navigate to the viewport. So you see that we have our 3D mesh here. Once I click to the head, I see the exact material list that are used on this specific mesh. So here you see that this is the main material which is used on the face. So I'm clicking to the magnifying glass here to make it focused on my content browser. So you see that this is the material which is used on the face. But you see that this is a material instance. So we need to find the master material of this instance. So I'm double clicking it and you will see the parameters and the textures used on this specific material instance. And by scrolling to the bottom, you see that the parent of this specific material instance. I'm double clicking it and you will see that this is a material instance as well. So I am navigating down to find the exact parent of this one as well. We repeat it until we find the master material. So this is the M head, which is the master material since we are encountered with the whole blueprint at last. So you see that there is a blueprint here and you see that the normal channel of the specific master material is here. And the final calculation of this normal map connects to the normal pin of this material. So what I do to modify this master material is drag and dropping the rain material function over to this graph. So under the rain material, I'm accessing the materials folder and you see that ground rain normal overlay function here. So I am dragging and dropping this to the head materials blueprint, and by dragging this connection by holding the control key, I am setting my overlay function to the output of the normal output of this specific master material. So I'm connecting this to the input of this material. By doing that, this way, my overlay function just manipulates the connected normal map of the texture. But the one other thing to do is to manipulate the roughness value of the current material. You can either change the roughness value of this material as around 0 or something lower than 1, or you can just adjust the roughness parameter of this specific material as well. What I will do is changing the material by the parameter, changing the roughness value by the parameter of the specific material. So I'm not touching to the roughness channel here, and I close this master material of the face and save it. Let's close these other materials, and you see that there is not much of a change right now, but we will adjust the texture a little bit. So you can see that we need to find the exact material first. Let's try to find it once again. Actually, I navigated away from the material in my content browser. So let's find it by clicking to the magnifying glass here. And you will see, oh strange, it didn't navigate to there. Let's do it once again. Right. Clicking to the magnifying glass. This time it navigates here. Let's double click it. And I'm looking for a parameter of roughness. So this face material has a global roughness value. Let's set it to 0 or even a negative value. I'm saving it. Nothing much of changes. Let's see the LOD of this Metahuman. Oh, I set it to 1 to save some performance or the system sources. So you see that there is a LOD sync under the blueprints of the Metahumans. The default value of this is the -1. So it is affected by the distance that shows the specific level of detail of the current actor. So let me hide the sprites, show you that. You see that on this distance face details are like this. If I get closer, you see that face texture and face geometry also changes. So what we have modified was the 0 LOD of this actor, which means the most detailed material of it. If I set it the forced LOD to 0, you will see that this material will not change even I get away from the actor, because the LODs are calculated or assigned by the camera distance or the screen size of the actors. So this way I forced it to stay in the 0 LOD, which is the most detailed level of detail of this actor. So this way our material stays on this actor, which means if I set it to 1, you see that we lost the roughness value, and this means the LOD1 has a different material other than this specific master material we have modified and edited. So let's switch and stick to the 0 LOD here for a while, and by here let's see our rain parameters. For that I delete the search filter first, and you see that there is also some additional parameters here which are the rain materials exact parameters. For example, if I switch here and set the static drop to 1, and let's set the UV multiplier as 1 or even a lower value, you will see that drops are getting visible. So for example, if I set the UV tiling to 0.1, we will see that there are larger drops on the face. Let's stick to the 0.12, and we'll see that even 0.15 looks better. And I will set the general flow speed to 0, which makes the drops much more intense, because the static drop on parameter sets the drops to splash mode. If I set it to 0, you will see that drops will be paused because the general flow speed is 0. But if I set a tiny value on the flow, you will see that we will get kind of flow or leaking on the face. We can increase the value to set the flow speed in a faster way. But the problem with this overlay function is that your UVs should be should not be rotated, because this face possibly, the UVs of this face possibly has the has been aligned to the word normals, which means the lips are on the bottom of the UV plane, and the eyes are, or the forehead is the top of the UV area or the UV plane. If it was set as rotated in 90 degrees, this way our flow will be done in from left to right, or uh, opposite of that. So this approach, which is the material overlay function, is a UV dependent approach. So we are lucky that this face is aligned in a good way, since the flow approach reacted in a way that should, as it should be, from according to the gravity, of course. But the best way is to use this in static drop mode, which means the splashes. Once you set the static drop mode as 1, I suggest you to set the general flow speed to 0. So after that, which creates much more intense splashes, or the drops, and you can change the UV multiplier this way to get a better scale according to your model. So this way you will see that we have the drops, and also we have the exact normal maps of the existing model. Let me change the clipping plane a little bit to, let's say, 0.1 to get closer look. Actually, we need to restart the project, I assume. Yes. Even I change the parameter, we have still clipping, but after a restart it would be better. But let's stay like this. So this is the material overlay function approach. You can adjust the normal map intensity of the parameter, which means I'm going to add on the upcoming update. Actually, it's an easy approach. Let me show you quickly. You see that our drops has no parameter to adjust the intensity of the normals. But on the material function, or the exact rainflow material, I can easily do that. Let me switch to the secondary content browser. Here, sorry, from materials, I switch to the rainflow material, and in this blueprint, I need to edit this function. And in the normal map, I'm going to split the channels first and make a float 3D back by keeping the blue channel, and multiply the red and green channels with a constant value, which I'm going to convert it to a parameter, of course. So this is a constant, which is 1. See that these are the drops, and if I set this constant to 5, you'll see that drops will be much more intense according to the normal map intensity. So let's keep it as 1, converting it to parameters, and I will rename this parameter as drop intensity. I will group the rain material parameters in the next update, so it will be easier for you to see the specific rain material parameters on the materials that you have used the overlay function. So this way the rain material parameters will not be mixed or confused with the existing materials. So I will group them under the rain material or something like that. So you will see all the parameters under that hierarchy. So switching back to our edited material function, don't bother with this section or don't bother with the things I'm telling you on this specific portion of this video, because I'm going to update what I'm going to do here on the next update of the rain material. So you will get the update once I upload it to the marketplace as well. So let's wait for the compiling process. After the compiling, we will be having a drop intensity here. Actually, by saving, we have this parameter, and you can see that it's normally 1 by default. If I increase this value, you will see that the drop intensity will be increased. So after that, we can change the static drop speed. It's not good enough, but something like that creates a splash effect. For the flow, we need to switch to set the static drop off, which means setting it, the parameter as 0. And by then, we change the general flow speed to make a flow, which is the main usage of this rain material. But as I said earlier, your UVs should be directed from top to bottom on this approach. So this way the flow will be much more corrected. Flow will be applied in a correct way, I mean. So we can change the drop intensity again. So in this video, I have showed you the two approaches on manipulating the surfaces of your meshes. The one was using the rain volume actor, which doesn't require any modification on the existing materials. The other one is the better looking but more limited approach by using modifying the existing materials with material overlay function of the rain material. So the second approach is also limited by the UV direction, because it will be hard to keep the continuity of your UVs by keeping the direction towards the gravity to make the flow always runs through top to bottom with this overlay approach. So most of the cases, the best way is using the decal system. So let's switch to the decal system once again to watch the demo of the Metahuman. So I'm setting the drop intensity to 0 to disable the normal map manipulation of the overlay function. And the next thing I do is setting the roughness value to the previous default value. Let's enable the decal layers. By that, let's play it.
I am a metahuman, the next generation of digital human powered by Unreal Engine. Metahumans are high-fidelity digital characters created by you, the user, on our new content creation platform, Metahuman Creator. I am fully rigged, ready for animation and motion capture, allowing you to work in context. With everything running live in Unreal Engine, my motion works seamlessly
on other characters. I have 8 levels of detail and have been tested on a wide range of hardware platforms, from feature film to mobile. If you're interested in learning about my animation rig or high-fidelity deformations, built on Control Rig, the new strand-based hair system via the Groom component, or how everything is tied together and animated in Sequencer, then have a look under the hood in this project. This is just a glimpse of things to come.
Yeah, looking pretty convincing if you ask me. So thanks for watching and see you on the next video. Goodbye.